Hello everyone, it's been a while. I hope everyone had a good holiday break, and I'm here to answer the questions that were posted in response to my Ask Me Anything. The first question, where did you learn to make violins? With respect, the question needs to be rephrased. I have not gone to school to learn how to do this myself, and also the question of where did you learn implies a past tense, as if there was just like a simple process of I studied something and now I know the thing and now I can do the thing. It's more accurate to reframe the question as what are you doing to learn violin making? Because I'm still in the process of making number one. I've not finished this. So it's still very, very much an ongoing process. All that said, here's the best way I can answer that question. There are a number of books on the subject that are fairly approachable from the beginner's perspective. This is a pretty good one I would recommend. It's very, very approachable, very accessible, and also affordable compared to some of the more specialist texts on the subject. If one has a serious interest in this, there's several resources that you can lean on. The first one that I recommend above all others is an Italian maker on YouTube named Davide Sora, and he has a complete index of videos on his entire process of making an instrument from start to finish. Now, the subtitles on all his builds are in Italian, but if you go to the YouTube description of the video, he has English translations and timestamps in there. Another YouTuber that has been very helpful in my process of learning is Graham Vincent of Graham Vincent Violins. He is a delightful fellow, and he posts informative videos pretty frequently, and also runs a Facebook discussion group full of a very lively discussion of fellow amateur makers such as myself, and plenty of others of much more considerable experience. Another resource to lean on is the forum called The Peg Box, which is hosted on the site MaestroNet. In my estimation, this site has a lot more expertise. There are many professional makers on this forum on a high level, and for that, I'm a little intimidated by it right now. I only lurk on that forum. I don't post over there, at least not yet. But mostly, how am I learning violin making? I just decided to do it. I realized that there was going to be no teacher-like experience, and unfortunately, I don't have some master builder in my area that I can apprentice under, at least not that I know of. And I just decided, you know what, it's up to me. I have to do this. I have to do the best I can. I have to make mistakes. I have to fail. I have to compensate for those failures, try to fix my mistakes, move forward, and learn what not to do next time. One thing I will say for a first-time builder, forget any delusions you might have of making your first instrument better than you think it's going to be. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I'll keep it there for now. The next question is, what did I use to cut the purfling channel going around the edge of the instrument? Now, first of all, purfling is an inlay that goes around the edge. This is not painted on. This is actually carved out and inlaid with 3 different strips of wood. 2 of them dyed black and 1 of them left as its natural color. The purpose of purfling is to stop cracks on the edge from spreading into the body of the instrument. And it just looks really cool. The first thing to use is one of these. This is a purfling scribe tool. This rides along the edge of the instrument, and these sharpened pins scribe 2 parallel lines that indicate where you need to carve down. Then it's a simple matter of getting a very sharp knife. I used an X-Acto knife and carved down about 1.5 millimeters. This is what a strip of purfling looks like on its own, 1.3 millimeters wide, and it doesn't exactly show up very well on camera, but this is what's set into the edge of the instrument. And with the channel cut, you then need to use, trying to get this in focus, this is a purfling pick that also came with my scribe tool. And you may notice some grind marks on here. That's because I have slimmed this down significantly from the thickness that it arrived. I had a huge problem blowing out the edge along the bottom of my top plate, and I'll include a short little snippet of how I solved that problem in a future video. These can be had on Amazon for quite cheap. There are more expensive options, and they may be worth the money, but these do okay for me for now. Now this question wants to know about a solid carved guitar that is made much in the same way of a violin in terms of an arched top, carved F-holes, and whether or not that's possible. Unfortunately, I'm not the right person to answer this question. Guitars are not my specialty. I would say ask an acoustic guitar maker. Do I plan to make violas? Yes, I do want to make violins, violas, and cellos. I do plan to make instruments for sale. Yes, indeed. Is it cost prohibitive to make extra templates? Honestly, anytime you make an instrument, you will need to make a mold for it, unless you decide to reuse the mold like this, that these ribs were formed onto. And I may reuse this mold at a later date. Chances are I'll probably set it aside and make a better quality mold for any future violins, especially if I want to do a pattern that's not a Stradivari pattern, like say I want to do a Guarneri or an Amati. But for violas, man, the sky's the limit. My friend Joshua actually wants me to make him a viola after I'm done with this violin, and I'm very much looking forward to that project. And since you indicated an interest in violas, you will be able to follow along with that experience too, and I hope you tune in. Also, one thing to add as far as the instruments for sale are concerned, I will be making them for sale for the general public once I feel that my work is up to caliber to where I feel comfortable putting my name out there. That may take a few instruments for me to do. For what it's worth, a maker friend of mine named Brandon, he said that the guy that he learned from, his teacher said that if he knew the whereabouts of his first 30 instruments that he'd ever made, and he had them all in one place, he'd light them all on fire. So that kind of tells you the kind of perfectionism that's endemic to the violin making world. And I may feel similarly at some point, but for right now, I want to make stuff, I want to sell stuff, and I hope to make people happy with what I make. So that's it for now for all the questions that I received. If anyone has any other further questions that you would like to see answered in another video, Ask Me Anything, please leave them below. Note that I will not answer them immediately. I will answer them in video form at a later date. If you have any other questions on my previous videos, if you ask questions on those videos, I'll respond to them as soon as I can. But for now, everyone, take it easy, and I'll see y'all later.